not the all the aspects of the quality parameters defined by the NAC. So first we should know why NAC accreditation is required. To establish HEI as a brand with the NAC grade, if you want to establish your organization as a brand, we all know what is the status of education institutions in the world ranking of in India. Any higher education of India, you know very well what is the rank of them at the world level. So if you want to establish brand, then you have to proceed for the NAC. I feel very proud when I say that I am from the NAC accredited A plus grade college. So that may feel proud to you also. Quality improvement in routine of HEI, because NAC is a continuous process, not a single day, not a year process. So if you want to improve the quality, then you should go for NAC. You can find your strength, weakness, opportunity, and challenges. You can analyze them, find where you stand. Means if your grade is A plus, then you can think where you are. If your grade is D, then you can think where you are. It guides to design and develop improvement plans. Continuous improvement plans can be defined throughout the year. You can make long term plans, short term plan, and mid term plan. So University Grant Commission has made NAC amended by 2022. As Koshal sir told that the make NAC has also compulsory made that we have to go for the NAC till 2020. As per new guideline, NAC UGC accreditation is mandatory for all HEI. Accreditation is desired for autonomy and grade. If you want to go for autonomy, then NAC accreditation is must. As per UGC guideline for continuation of affiliation, if you want your affiliation continuous, then NAC grading is must. UGC release fund for the IQSE. If you want to improve the quality, then you have to establish IQSE. Definitely, it is the IQSE sale is should establish after first cycle, but I suggest you should establish before the NAC process, so the you can go in well systematic process. All HEI which receive fund from UGC, RUSA, DST, DBT, NCT, etc. require NAC grading for the further funding. If you are receiving the fund from these organizations, then definitely NAC grade is required. Accreditation is desired for autonomy, grades, autonomy, deemed university status, and so on. So what is the revised accreditation process? Today's topic is revised accreditation process, and revised process is completely automated. I already told that registration to appeal, whole process is ICT based. Not a single paper is to be sent or received while communication with NAC. You have to communicate with your portal, mail. Even there is no need to communicate through telephone or mobile also. In rare case, you can communicate with the mobile or through phone. Revised process is 70% quantitative information. As I told that it is more quantitative and less qualitative. As Saparwal sir told that uh, previously the complete process was depending on the NAC P team. The team comes and evaluate your and provide the grade. But nowadays 70% quantitative information is to be filled online, and it is verified by the third party DVV team, and 30% qualitative data. DVV means data verification and validation. Qualitative information verified by the peer team, this is 30%. It also includes the SSS. This is one of the important part. It is of 50 marks for the colleges. Student satisfaction survey, data driven and accreditation framework. System generated scores with combination of evaluation and peer judgment. The 70% plus 30% and the SSL, these combinedly generates your score. So you obtain the grade after this system generated score. There is no involvement of human in calculation of this one. And the student satisfaction survey is also the online process. Now if you are going for the first cycle, means you are accrediting your institutions for first attempt, then these are the steps. First, you have to register on the NAC portal. For the registration, you must have your AISHE code, All India Higher Education Certificate code. Then you have to visit NAC portal. Then visit, and last one is result. So we'll discuss these all one by one. The whole process you can view on the basis of this diagram. In this diagram, this is HEI registrations that my mouse pointer is moving on this particular box. Then IIQA, then SSR, then assessment for pre-qualification, and peer team visit. After the obtaining 25% marks, you will proceed for the peer team visit. Then SSR, assessment process by peer team, and grade declaration. The whole process is divided into these steps. So first registration, IIQA, SSR quantitative assessment for pre-qualification, that is DVV. If DVV verify your SSR, then you proceed for next step, means you proceed for the peer team visit. Then qualitative assessment processed by the peer team, then grade declarations. Here you can think if your IIQA is rejected or no response from the NAEC, then you have to resubmit the IIQA. The process of verifying this SSR by DVV requires 45 days from the IIQA acceptance. Within 45 days, you have to submit your SSR, and this is complete online process. So you have to keep in mind, you have to bind yourself within this 45 days. So my suggestion is that first complete your 80% SSR and then go for the IIQA submission, because after the IIQA submission you would not get not more than the 45% marks. So if your SSR is prepared, then proceed for this IIQA. This HEI registration can be done anytime, and this verification from the DVV team requires near about 30 days. Within 30 days, the DVV team verify your SSR, and if you qualify, then you proceed for the next step. If you pre-qualification is failed, then you have to repeat the steps. So after the grade declaration, you can appeal if you are not satisfied with the marks, and for the next cycle, for the next 5 years, you have to submit AQR, annual quality assurance report, every year. So the door will open for the second cycle. So this is the accreditation process. Now what is the HEI registration? This is the first step. Without this registration, you cannot proceed. First, you have to registration, and this registration can be done anytime. First, fill the registration form. HEI fill the accreditation information, verify the approved registrations, and activate the login credentials. You will get your username, password, and your dashboard will open. Your portal on the NAEC portal will be open. So your dashboard, I will show you what is the dashboard. Institution access the HEI portal, and here you can see that registration of institution accredited by next cycle 2 onwards. Most of the institutions as accredited previously by the previous standards. So if they are not on the in online process, then they have to register on the portal. Registration of institutions not accredited by the NAEC before cycle 1. So cycle 2, cycle 1, for the before every cycle you have to register yourself. Without registration, you cannot proceed for the accreditation process. This is a information, very simple information are here. Name of the institution, institution type, MHRD, SHS. I already told you that AISHE code is compulsory. Without this AISHE, here you will get this college and AISHE code. You are enter email, re-enter email. Keep in mind that this email must active throughout the process, and this mobile number must active. So you should provide these two information very carefully, because these should remain for the organization, and complete communication will take place with these two, this mobile number as well as this. You will receive message with this mobile number and this mail number. Are you previously accredited? If yes, then click on this yes. If no, then no. Visit NAEC for the eligibility criteria. What is the eligibility criteria? If you are having third batch pass out, final year batch, then you can proceed. One more thing that I want to tell, UG and PG college. If you have at least one PG, if you have at least one PG course in your institution, then you are PG college. And if not a single course is you are running as a PG postgraduate, then you are considered as a UG college. So this is the difference. In previous year, it was UG. There is the difference between PG and UG was you should register yourself on UGC website. Then only you can consider as a PG college. But now the clarification is made by the NAEC. If you are running at least one PG course, then you will consider as a PG college. Here, the registration and declaration process, and you will register yourself. So registration process is completed. Then IIQA. This IIQA is very simple. First, the complete process is divided into these steps. Upload. Again, I am need your focus that complete process is online. The whole process is performed through this your PC, laptop, and mobile. You can do with these all. So fill IIQ and upload the support documents. What are the support documents? I will show. IIQ submission, verification, clarifications are there. If you are running 3 or 4 courses, or in previous year in at AISHE web portal, you have entered 5 courses, and now you have 7 or less than 5. In AISHE portal, you have entered 5 courses in previous years, and now you have 7, means more than 5 or less than 5. Then there may be clarification from the NAEC that why this is so, because now you have 7 or less than 5 courses. So you have to clarify the queries, and again I need your focus. The clarification time is clarification process is time bound. Within a given time you have to submit the clarification. Submit the clarification response and verification accepted IIQA. So this is simple process of now what type of information you have to submit with this IIQA. This is the IIQA, Institutional Information for Quality Assessment. These are some points. 31 points are there. So with these 31 very simple points, I need your focus only on some points, because these are some simple information. Cycle 1, application for accreditation. Cycle 1, name of the college, date of establishment of the institution, head of the institution, designations, address of the college, and these are the basic information. Mobile number, email, alternate email, websites. This is compulsory part of accreditation process. You must have your active websites, and most of the information you have to upload on the website also. So your website must active. As the entity completed 6 years of existence or graduation of last 2 batch. Nature of college means private, government, government aided, what type of college is there. College affiliation and affiliated university. Here you have to upload the document. As I told that not a single paper you have to submit. So you have to upload scanned copy of the document. You have to upload here, the view here, and suppose this state Madhya Pradesh Devi Ahilya Vishwavidyalaya, and here upload the document. If the institution recognized under 2F of the UGC Act, if yes, then date you have to mention and upload the document. If the under 12B, if yes, then upload the document. So if autonomous, then you have to upload the autonomous standard. Institution recognized college with potential excellence, upload the document. So these are some documents that are required during IIQA process. And if the institution is not affiliated to the university and is offering the program recognized by statutory regulatory authorities, if your institution is authorized or recognized from the SRA, statutory regulatory authorities, then you can process, and that must be recognized by the Association of University, and the number of program offered. How many programs your institution is offering? You have to mention here these. Then these are the information: UG6, PG12. This is the sample sample data. Suppose there are 6 UG programs and 2 PG programs. If you have Master of Ayurveda, doctoral, postdoctoral, certificate, awareness, any number you can provide here. Program details, again, whatever number you have entered, and now you have to enter the details, the programs and departments, university, and affiliation, SRA, statutory regulatory authority. These all information you have to enter here. Number of teaching staffs, again, I need your focus. Male 22, female 32. This is 54. This figure must match with your AISHE data, because they will verify with the your AISHE data. So while entering the data, you must keep in mind your data must match with AISHE. If will not match, they will generate the clarification, they will generate the query, and you have to clarify the query. If they will satisfy, then they will proceed for the next. Otherwise, IIQA will be rejected. So keep in mind this figure must match. Now number non-teaching, again for 25/8, and this should match with your SHE data. Then transgender total. Now, does the institution have statutory sales or committee? Many committees we form in the institutions. For example, committee for SC/ST, minority cell, grievance redressal committee, internal compliance committee, anti-ragging committee. Committee must have their minutes, their regular meetings and activities. You have to record all these, and you have to upload the document regarding these all. If you have only, then you should enter here. Otherwise, there will be chance of rejections. So date of establishment, IQAC, internal quality assurance cell. As I told that if you are going for first cycle, then there is no mandate of establishment of this IQAC. But my suggestion is that you should establish IQAC cell as per guideline given by the NAEC. See? So the qualitative measurement and qualitative steps can be taken by this IQAC cell. The whole responsible for quality improvement, this IQAC cell. Has the institution made statutory declaration on the institution website under section 4(1)B RTI Act issued as amendment from the time to time? It is not required for this sample data. If there is need in your institution, then you can proceed. Does the college have an academic MOU with any foreign institutions? Then you can mention here. Again, you have to upload 2 documents here. Uploading MHRD website AISHE. This AISHE certificate you have to upload here. Attach certificate by the head of the institution for having complete with rules. Here you have to prescribed format for this 30 number point. Here you have to upload in that with seal and sign. Registration fee. This sample data you can see that the receipt number and all these things. The 25%, 25,000 plus GST. So you have to pay 29,500, 6+2 courses. So this is the minimum fees for IIQA, 25,000 plus GST. So this is the complete IIQA process. In this IIQA process, these are 31 points you have to enter. And if you pay the fees, after that, this IIQA will be except for the next thing. So I have covered 2. First is your IIQA, then second is first is your registration, and then IIQA. This whole process is online. Now third is SSR. After acceptance of IIQA, you will get this dashboard with your login name and password. This manage IIQA, manage SSR, manage DVV, manage appeal, manage AQR for the second cycle, manage assessment, So you will get with your portal with your login ID and password on the NAIC portal. This is the dashboard. Means manage IIQA, prepare IIQA, this IIQA that I have show you, that complete process performed here. Just prepare IIQA, you will get the form that I have displayed there. Make a payment. This is payment is on also online. No need to send data for this. Prepare IIQA, make a payment, submit IIQA, and view IIQA clarification. You will receive here notification, so that the time within time bound you can reply. Now the if your IIQA is accepted, then you can manage your SSR. Now this is the SSR. Fill the SSR. Now what type of questions are there in SSR, I will show you. And upload the data files as per template. What type of data you should prepare before submission of SSR, I will show. Prepare SSR first installment fee online, select non-applicable metrics and DVB process, and upload input from DVB, SSS and Fliblets, and the whole process completed. If you will qualify, then you will proceed for the peer team visit after this acceptance of this SSR. This is the DVB process. After submission of SSR, the DVB take place. DVB identify the deviation. Now, what type of deviation? Deviation means, suppose you entered 54 faculties and AISHE there are 49 faculties. They will ask why this is so. So you have to clarify. Submit the deviation report with query. In the form of query, you will get the response from DVB team and you will answer. Submit the clarification, verification. If you are with your clarification, DVB team is satisfied, then they will proceed. Otherwise, they will reject you. That it may be they will reject. If they will not satisfy with the data that you are having 54 faculties in your organization, and they found only 49 are there, so they will submit 49 to NAIC, because DVB is a third party. They are not completely bind with you and not bind with the NAIC. This is the mediator between you and your NAIC organization. So this DVB verifies your data from different sources. So first, they will verify with AISHE. Second, they will verify with suppose you are mentioning the research paper. So research paper will be verified from the UGC care list or UGC listed journal or Scopus or Index, whatever you are mentioning your SSR. So they will verify from that. So DVB verify from third different sources, and if not satisfied, they will generate a query and you have to respond to that query. And they will recommend a data update. I'll show what type of recommendation they will made. And second level verification, then report submission. You will get second chance also. So after that chance, you will not get any chance. So only 2 chances are there. Maximum 2 chances you will get to clarify. This is the student satisfaction survey process. This is the complete online. Student will receive an email and a link for this survey. Initially, survey with 30% students over all programs. In your organization, 500 students are there. So they will send mail to 30%. Activation link to the students. They will send student login and submit the survey process response. They will answer the monitor the survey for 10% response or 100 out of 500 response for the college and university. 100 for the colleges. 10% or 100. Whatever student entry made by your institution. So they will send 30% of that entry, and with 10% or 100 for the organization, for the institution, not the university. So for example, you send 1,000 students entry. So you will they will send 30%, means 300 students activation link, and they will receive response 10% or 100 from those 300. So they will continue for that. Close the survey for our HCI, compute the student survey matrix value. So send the request to remaining 70% or to all. It is up to the DVV team what they will do. Initially, they send 10%. If they will not receive this 10% or 100 from 300 students, so they will send to remaining 70% or to all. So 100% will receive the link. So you should send email. Sorry, you should send their student information with correct email ID and correct phone number. They may verify with phone also. So they may call to the students. You are the student from this three of email ID and mobile number. So this is the now. What did the SSR? Please wait. The whole online SSR submission has following sections. Profile of SSR means basic information, academic information of the your institution. Extended profile, program, students, teacher, staff, category-wise data, and quality indicative factors. Executive summary of all the criteria, introduction, vision, mission, objective, SWOT analysis, and criteria-wise summary, 500 words of each, and optional metrics, SSR initial payment, and student detail for the survey. So SSR submission is divided into these 6 steps. Basic information, phone number, your address, location, academic information, and so on. Extended profiles means how many programs are there in your organization, how many students are there, how many teachers, how many staffs, categorized data, SC, ST, OBC, and handicapped, and so on. And the quality indicator factors. Executive summary, introduction of the your organization, what is the vision, mission, and objective. This vision, mission, objective must displayed on the website of your institution. Then what are the strength, weakness, opportunity, and challenges? This is a write-up you have to make for your institution. And the criteria-wise summary, 500 words. This is compulsory. 500 words. Within this 500 words, you have to summarize your organization. So more than 500, they will reject. But you have to summarize your whole data within this 500. Optional metrics. This is one of the important part of the SSR. If you don't want to include some criteria and some metric in your institutions. For example, in last 5 years, you found that there was no students who are physically disabled, means Divyang students were admitted in your organizations, and that has some points. But in last 5 years, no students were there, so you can opt out that particular metric because it was not relevant to you. Or for example, you didn't receive fund from government, and as a private institutions, you are not receiving any fund, so you want to omit that. So these are the some metrics that can be excluded from your SSR. These metrics will not opt out the metrics, and in complete SSR you can opt out many points that are not included with you, but some are compulsory that cannot be excluded. I will show. SSR initial payment, student detail for the survey. And now I will show you this, what type of survey, what type of data you have to enter. Data can be uploaded in the form of, now I have told you that complete SSR process is online process, and data upload, what type of data you have to prepare. Excel file, this is given by NAEC team, means template. This is the complete Excel file. Every Excel file has some information, and that you have to enter the data. Now I will show what type of data that you have to enter. Just wait a minute. Yeah, this, the year and number. This you will receive in the template form. Number of seats available year wise during last 5 years. Suppose in 2010, 500 students were admitted. So you can enter here, and this is the form of template. Again, this is a number of full-time teachers with PhD, DM, MCA, DNB, DSc, delete, year-wise last 5 years. So this information is in the form of MS Excel. You have to enter here. Templates. Next, the PDF. Most of the information we have to send in the form of PDF, and this PDF must not be beyond the 5 MB space. Now the question is that how we can upload more than 5 MB data. This is very simple. If you have more than 5 MB file, then make a link to your website on your website. As I told you that the website of your institution play the important role in SSR. If you are unable to upload data on your website, sorry, on your portal in NAEC portal, then you can make a link of that data to the portal, to your institution portal, and submit the link. They will verify with that particular link. So you can upload data at your website, and on that you can put this PDF. If you want to put some link of any other website that you can provide here. Suppose I want to submit my research paper information, and I have submitted 5 research paper which are related to NAEC, and I want to show with this here. So I will submit the link of that my research paper. A link to the HEI website, doc file for the additional information. If you want to upload some additional information that are not included here, template or in PDF, then you can upload it here also. So maximum 5 MB file can be uploaded. If HEI has more data, then upload to the HEI website and provide the link in SSR. So SSR has these 6 steps: profile of SSR, extended profile, executive summary, optional metrics, SSR initial payment, and settings. The data, this is a very important part. The whole marking will depend on this presentation of your data. What type of data and how much data you are providing to the NAEC, because DVB team verify your data and forward your information to the NAEC on the basis of data you provided here. So be careful to submit this data. Now the whole SSR is divided into some key indicators, criteria, and metrics. So these are the 7, there are 7 criteria for UG and PG colleges, and these 7 criteria divided into key indicators, and 31 for the UG and 32 for PG. These qualitative metrics are 35, 36, and quantitative metrics are 58 and 60, and total metrics QTM and QNM are 93, 96. So these are the bifurcation of this criteria, key indicator, and metrics. These are the 7 criteria of SSR. Curricular aspect, teaching, learning and evaluation, research, innovation and extension, infrastructure, learning resources, student support and progression, governance and leadership and management, institutional values and best practices. So these criteria are on the basis of new guideline. Some has been changed, which are previously not included here. So these are the 7 criteria of SSR. First, key criteria and their key indicators. This criteria, curricular aspect. This U indicate for the university and A for the affiliated colleges. Curriculum design and development. UG college and PG college, these are not applicable because most as a UG and PG college, we are not directly involved in development and design of particular curriculum. So these are now not applicable. Curriculum planning and implementation, in this we are completely involved, so it has 20 and 20 marks. And the academic flexibility, I'll show what type of these are. Just marking I am showing here. Curricular aspect, Then teaching and learning evaluation. This is divided into student enrollment and profile, catering to the student diversity, teaching learning process, teacher profile and quality. This is very important because it's of 60 marks. Why it is important? Because here you have to mention the experience of uh, faculty. I worked with one college regarding this NAEC, and in that college, most of the faculty were newly appointed or having less experience. So they lost that this point because completely new appointed faculty were there. So teacher profile is must. Then PhD teacher is compulsory. So you should appoint a teacher as per norms, and now norms is there. You should appoint a completely PhD faculty. So this teacher profile and quality is play important role. Evaluation process and reforms, student performance and learning outcomes, student satisfaction survey. As I told, this is very important. Without this survey, your process will not complete. This is of 60 marks for the UG and PG college. So 350 are the total marks for this. This is the maximum marks. Here it was 110 and 120, and now 350 and 350 marks. This is the maximum mark criteria. Third criteria, research innovation, promotion of research mobilizations, innovation ecosystem, publication. I will show some metrics and criteria in next slides. So just I am reading. Okay, my focus is on just the point. See the points. These are the weightages. See these weightages. This is not applicable. Consultancy for UG and colleges, UG and PG college. The innovation of ecosystem for UG college it is not applicable, but for PG college it is applicable. Promotion of research and facilities, now it is not applicable in the UG and PG both. So as per new norms, what are not applicable and what are applicable already mentioned by the NAEC. This is infrastructure and learning. As I told initially that private institution management thinks that if they are having good infrastructure, a very big building and a colorful building and very extraordinary infrastructure, they will gain the A+ grade or A++ grade. Just see here, it is only 100 marks. And the infrastructure means physical facility. What type of building you have? It is only of 30 marks. So if you have good infrastructure, not only that you can gain this complete marks. Library as a learning resource, IT infrastructure. You should have IT infrastructure in also. Means your computer laboratory is there, must there, computer lab. How many computers are there? What is your maintenance policy? What is your upgradation policy of this particular lab? Suppose I purchase 100 computers before last 10 years, means in 2010 I purchased 100 computers and they are running till that. No other upgradations, no purchasing of new computers, no laptops. So it will affect your mark. So IT infrastructure must be upgraded, must be updated every years. What type of marks, what type of percentage of budget you are allocating for this IT infrastructure. It again play the important role. There is a maintenance of campus. This is the 2020 weightage. So it has only 100 marks. Criteria 4. Criteria 5, student support, student progression, participation in activities. Your student must participate in different type of activities. Awards must be there. Alumni must be there. So this is the criteria 5th. Criteria 6, governance, leadership and management. This is completely depend on management of the organization. As I told, that the various stakeholders of the NAEC process. So management role will play here. Governance, leadership and management. Institutional vision and leadership. This is defined by the management. Strategy development. As I earlier told that what type of plan your organization have. means long term, short term, what you will do in next 5 years, in next 10 years, next 20 years. Long term planning is for the 20 years. What type of planning you want? So this strategic development and deployment, faculty empowerment strategy, in most of the private college, this is very, it has a very it is in worst situation. Faculty empowerment student, most of the management think that they are providing salary to the faculty members, and this is enough. But faculty empowerment is not only providing salary to them. What type of incentives you are giving, what type of benefit you are giving to the faculties if they are going for research, innovative ideas, what type of empowerment strategy you have. So this is defined by the management, financial management and resource mobilizations. This is very important again, from the management point of view. Suppose mobilization means how you mobilize your fund. If you receive 100 rupees as a fees, and with this fees, what you do with this 100 rupees, or the other source of income. Suppose your organization is providing you infrastructure to organize different types of exams, and you receive money from that conducting of exams. So what you will do with this money? But there various aspects are there. Initial internal quality assurance system, this 30 marks. So for first cycle, for second cycle and third cycle, this is the 30 weightage. So as I told that you should have IQAGC, I suggested that you should establish IQAC. Even you are going for the first cycle, there is no mandate from NEC. You should have IQAC before first cycle, but this point automatically tells you that you should have IQAC cell. So what are the internal quality assurance system in your organization? And this system is completely depend on the management, because management will verify and allocate the fund for that. The 7 criteria: institutional values and best practices, institution values and social responsibilities. What are the social responsibilities, best practices, distinctiveness? What type of distinctiveness is in your organization? Every organization is providing education, but what type of distinctiveness is there in your organization? For example, my institution, Cloth Market Girls Commerce College, is providing facility to the girls students, and especially for the girls. So this is the distinct. Your organization may distinct in different natures, so distinctness must be there. This is the above 100 points or 100 weightage. So as I told, this criteria 2 is very important because it is of 350 weightage here, and this is 100 weightage here. Now these are the criteria and these are the indicators. Now these indicators are divided into metric. What type of metrics are there? Before going to the metrics, what type of questions are there in the SSR? So there are mainly four types of questions are there. You have to write 500 word for the maximum questions, and these are the normally qualitative, so verified by the peer team. Multiple choice based, you will have multiple choice in that question. Formula based, automatically calculated by the system, just you have to enter the data, and yes no type questions. So these are the 4 type of questions are there in your SSR. Let us see sample questions. This is the 1.1 metric. qualitative metrics. Institution ensures effective curriculum delivery through the well-planned and documented process. So you have to mention here what is your policy to deliver the curriculum, what is the planned and documented process. We prepare first, we prepare academic calendar. Now academic calendar normally given by the affiliated university or higher education department, but we can make some amendment in that. We can make some additional information or additional arrangement in that. So you should make an activity calendar in that. Activity calendar means what? So administrative, academic as well as other activity can be included in your calendar. Make a calendar for the 365 days, and in each days what you will do means for September 15 to 20 we will arrange first internal, so mention in that. October will arrange third internal, then make arrangement. So you should arrange all these events, activities, and classrooms, lab, these all in your calendar, and prepare a teaching plan, distribute among the students. Then teacher's diary must be maintained there. So these are some documents you have to prepare for here, and you have to make a write-up for 500 words. What you do this, and now upload the additional information, link for the additional information. Here you have to upload the information. Suppose I have told you that academic calendar is there, teacher's diary is there, timetable is there. Make a PDF of all these and upload the information here. And if unable to upload here, means to the NAEC portal, then upload at your institution portal. आप अपने वेबसाइट के ऊपर उसको अपलोड कर सकते हैं, और उसके बाद आप उसकी यहाँ लिंक दे सकते हैं. यू मेक लिंक फॉर, यू कॉपी द लिंक फ्रॉम योर पोर्टल एंड पेस्ट हियर. सो देयर आर टू वेज टू upload the information for this particular matrix. This is the qualitative QLM. QLM means qualitative matrix, and this will verified by the NAEC team. So qualitative metrics are verified by the NAEC team, and quantitative QNM will be verified by the DVV team. This is the second question type, simple question. Teachers of the institution participate in following activities related to the curriculum development or assessment of the affiliating university, and are represented on the following academic bodies during the last 5 years. Academic Council, Board of Study of affiliating university, setting a question papers. So for example, your 5 faculties are involved in setting of question paper. 1 faculty is involved in Board of Study member. They will receive a letter, arrange all these letters, make a scan copy of all the letters, year-wise copy. For example, in 2014 to 15, for the year 2014 to 15, 1 faculty was involved in affiliating university, and 10 teachers were involved in setting up question paper. So they will receive a letter from university, make a copy, take a screenshot, take a picture of that, make a PDF and upload here. So see here, 1 Academic Council, 2 Board of Study, 3 PG Program Design Development of Curriculum for add-on and certificates, 4 Assessment Evaluation Process of affiliating university. If your teachers are involved in evaluation process, then still it has some marks. So you have to maintain records of all these activities, and any 3 of all of the above. If all of teachers are involved in all the activities, you can select all the above. So how the marks will be calculated? If all the above, then definitely you will receive 4, because the weightage is multiplied by the marking, and marking range is 0 to 4. 0 to 4 is marking. So if all the above, then you will receive 4 marks. 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. If 3, then you will receive 3, and 2, this will multiply by the weightage. Now this is another sample. Average percentage of full-time teachers with PhD, DM, MCA, DNB. So year 2014, number was 5. 15, 16, 10. 16, 17, 0. 17, 18, 5. 18, 19, 3. So when you write the numbers here, it will calculate percentage and average percent. Automatically it will calculate it here. Now, I need your focus. How you will receive this mark? Suppose 0 to 50, 0 to less than 50, 0 to less than 50. You will receive 0. I told you, I need your focus. How the mark will be calculated? How calculation is performed here? So I will sharing one example. 0 to 50, less than 50, you will receive 0 marks and 0 will multiply by 20. So if any one teacher is average is less than only one teacher is whatever, then you will receive 0 marks, because your percentage and average percent for the all 4 years will less than 50. But if it is 50 to 60, 50 to 60, 60 to 70, less than 50, then 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80, and 80 onwards. 0 to less than 50, 0. 50 to 60%, average percentage, you will receive one mark. 60 to 70, you will receive 2 marks. 70 to 83 and 84. 70 to 80 means less than 80. Then you will receive 3. And this 3 will be multiplied by the 20. So this type of calculation is performed at the end of NEC team. So if you want to more marks, then your faculty must be more faculty must be PhD faculties. In that case, you will gain this more average percentage marks. This is our PhD. Now, one more advice is I want to give an advice here. If your faculty is PhD, so please take a copy of their certificate. Otherwise, they will reject some this criteria. So you have to give proof that your faculties are PhD or DLET or so on. Because DVB team is very strict team. They can verify your data only if they have proof. So you will provide a proof of that, then you can gain this particular marks. So this is QNM, number of add-on certificate program offered during the last 5 years. Now what are the add-on programs and certificate program after? This is apart from your program and courses. So I want to make a difference between program and courses. BCom, BSc, these are the programs. Again, I need your focus. This is very complicated because you have to enter the how many programs your institution is running. So program means BCom, BSc, BA, these all are the programs. And courses, the subjects included in these program. For example, in BCom first year, there are 6 subjects are there. So these are 6 courses are there. As per NEC requirement, BCom, BA, BSc, these are the programs, and courses are the subjects. So how many courses are there? Then calculate the courses in your courses as a subject. And how many programs are there? Then BCom, BSc, these all are the your programs. So number of add-on and certificate programs offered during the last 5 years. This is very difficult in private organization to run the add-on and certificate programs. You may run various certificate and add-on programs in your organization. For example, telecourse, certificate program, and data science program, yeah, pathology, certificate in pathology, simple. So these are the certificate programs that you can run apart from the your courses. And one more thing, that name of ADAN certificate 30 or more contact hours. This is very compulsory. 2 or 3 days programs or workshop are not considered here. 30 or more contact hours. 30 days you can consider, or 30 hours. 1 hour per day if you consider, then 30 hours, 30 days program will be there. So keep in mind, the certificate programs with 30 hours is compulsory. If you don't have any program 30, how you have started the certificate, what is your curriculum in that certificate, the registration process, how many students, attendance, then exam, then result. And one more thing, if you run these add-on and certificate program by your own, means your institution is running without affiliation from outer agency, you can run these programs, no problem, they will consider it. But these program must be initiative by the IQAC, your organizing body or education body, whatever body your institution has. You can take permission from that. In that case, it will valid. So how to start the certificate and add-on program? Suppose I want to run a certificate program in 30. So first, what should be the content of that daily? What content I will teach to the students? 30 days, make a 30 days plan, systematic plan for the 30 days. Make a who will teach. It may be outsider or it may be insider teacher, maybe. This is free for all the students, or you will charge for that. And this must verify from your governing body or board of study or your organization. And then continuation with your attendance of the students and the exams. And after the exam, you should result and then provide the certificate to the students. This is the complete process for the certificate and add-on programs. Some special difference is that, suppose a commerce student go for the certificate in cost accounting or at cost accounting. This is the add-on. This is the add-on program. But a BSc student go for the tele certificate, then this is the certificate program. There is a difference between add-on and certificate program. So add-on program means that will add something to the current syllabi. Current syllabi. If you add something to some values to the your current syllabi, then that is add-on program. And certificate may be different from the your syllabi. Any biology student can go for the computer diploma. If a student from the biology and want to take part in certificate program, you can run a computer certificate in that. And definitely the diploma program is offered by the institution, must verified by the outer agency, must affiliated from the university or any other agencies. So this is the all about certificate and add-on programs. This is the demand ratio. Number of seats available year-wise during the last 5 years. Number of eligible applications received and a number of seats available. For example, 120 seats are available and 60 students are available. So 60 upon 120. This is the ratio, and you have to calculate average ratio. This average ratio will be calculated as per formula. So file description, you have to mention here the file, number of students admitted in that. So this will verify by the AISHE. As I told that everything will be verified from the outer agencies. So this information will be verified from the AISHE. So these are the some simple question. If average enrollment percentage of the student, total number of student admitted, and number of sanctioned seats. How many sanctioned seats are available and total number of students. This is the last 5-year data. So automatically calculated here. You have to upload the data in template. They will fetch the data from template and calculate this percentage. So this is the criteria 1 sample. 1.1 effective curriculum delivery. Development of curricula, program outcome, course outcome, program specific outcome. You have to mention here. Syllabus revision, teachers in university board of study. So these are the some points. Choice based system or elective. If you don't have CBCS, because our university is not our means Devi Alaya University is not giving permission CBS to run CBCS in our colleges. So you may mention elective courses, means plain text, computer, BA, for example, at the political science, history, and so on. So you may mention here, you will get complete marks with this elective, subject related certificate and add-on programs. As I told you, you have to run some certificate programs apart from your normal programs. So these are the some simple UG colleges criteria 1 data. Feedback. This is very important part of the whole process, because as a feedback, what we think, we collect the information from student and keep it. Your feedback must be collect, analyze, and the result of feedback must be displayed on your website. This is compulsory part of the accreditation process. Your feedback must be collected, analyzed, and the report or an action taken on the basis of that feedback must be displayed on your portal. In that case, you will receive marks. Otherwise, you will not receive marks. For example, you collect the information related to the syllabi from the students, parents, and employees, and you pass it to the IQAC, and IQAC passes to the university, and you display what you did. You perform the action that you pass as per your request in next year or next coming year. Then this is the action. You have to show this complete process in this SSR. In that case, you will receive marks. Otherwise, there will be no mark. So see here, analysis are found not teaching well or teaching very good. There are two options. A teacher is very good or teacher is very bad. Teacher is teaching very good, teacher is teaching not well. So the what step is taken by the governing body or board of management. So you have to issue a letter to the teacher, or you have to make an appreciation to the teacher. And if you do this, mention it at your website. In that case, you will receive a mark. Otherwise, there will be no marks is there. And what type of feedback in criteria 1 you have to receive? Feedback: student, teacher, employer, alumni, and parents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 type of feedbacks must be received for the feedback for the syllabi. This feedback is regarding syllabi, not other. I want to share one information with you, that I have published one paper on this feedback system in UGC. What should be the content of that feedback? So you may go, I will share this paper with you. Feedback. So this feedback in criteria 1 is related to the syllabi, not other. So this feedback process is analyze action and report to the governing body or board of management. Then you will receive the point in these two metrics. Otherwise, they will reject. So each and every point is important. These are some essential metrics. As I have told you that you may opt out some metrics, but you may omit and you may include. So criteria 1, essential metrics 1.1.2. Autonomous college and university, this is compulsory. 121, percentage of new course introduced by the university. This is for the university, U for university, and autonomous college. This is for the affiliated college. In criteria 1, this 132 is compulsory, and any other may be excluded. So what you can include and what you can exclude, you can see here. 132 is for affiliating constitution college, number of courses imparting transferable and life skill offered during the last 5 years. This is the compulsory for your organization if you are from the affiliated college. Criteria 2, the 2 student full-time teacher ratio. You must have the sufficient full-time teacher ratio in your organization. You have to provide the current year data. So affiliated college is 2 is compulsory. 242, as I told that you must appoint a teacher with PhD. Now it's compulsory. You should appoint a PhD teacher, but in most of the organization they appoint a teacher without PhD or any as per their norms. So they will not get this marks here. So 263, average pass percentage of student. This must be very good. If the percentage will good, you will receive a marks. Again, this is the essential. Essential means compulsory. You cannot exclude here. As I told you, you can opt out some points, but here you have to include these. In criteria 3, for the affiliated college, these 3 points are compulsory. Number of research paper per teacher as per listed journal notified on the UGC website during the last 5 years. I need your focus on this particular point. Nowadays, only UGC care listed journals are there. In that journal, your paper must publish. If you provide link, I need focus. If you provide link of UGC care listed journal here, only then DVV till TEM will accept. Otherwise, this point will be rejected. So you must provide the link of research paper of the teachers in the prescribed template of only those teachers who have submitted their paper and published paper in UGC care listed journal. They will not accept. 335, number of books and chapters edited, published and paper in national international conference proceeding during the last 5 years. So this is the books published. How many books published in last 5 years are during the last 5 years in conferences or national in proceeding of conferences, you may mention here. Number of extension and outreach program conducted in collaboration with industry, community and non-government organizations through NSS. Again, I need your focus. With your NSS, NCC, NSS, YRC, if you arrange activity or you conduct any event, but that must with collaboration with the any outer agency. It may be with industry, it may be the non-government, and you may. I want to give one example for this. If your organization conduct an activity in village for Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, but you collaborate with the Gram Panchayat of the village, you will send a letter to the Sarpanch that we want to educate the people and we want to share our views with this particular Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. So you may collaborate with the Gram Panchayat and they will send you letter with the Sarpanch and Sarpanch of that Panchayat and students and faculty of your organization combinedly conduct an activity or event in that village. Then it will be meaningful. Otherwise, there will be no meaning of this activity. So with whatever activity you perform, that must be collaboration. In that case, you will gain the marks here. Any community you may work, or with industry you can work. So this point is compulsory for the affiliating college. Criteria 4, 4.24, the annual average annual expenditure of books and journals. In colleges, every year we purchase books and journals. So you should mention in your budget also what allocation you provided for that, and that budget and income expenditure statements you must mention. These all the expenditure and budgets also. Then 432 student computer ratio. What is your student computer ratio? Normally in colleges, 30 computers are purchased and 600 students are there. So now you can calculate what will be the computer student ratio. Then criteria 5, average this is for one affiliated number of capability enhancement and development scheme for competitive exams, career counseling, staff soft skill development, remedial coaching, language lab, bridge course, yoga and meditation. If you conduct all these activities, then you have to keep record of all these. Means notice for every activity, participation of students, who are the instructor for this activity, and participation of student, attendance, photographs. Now, photograph must be geotech photograph. Now, it is very compulsory part of the accreditation process. Normal photo is not acceptable. Your every photo must geotech photo. It's very simple. Install a camera in your mobile, geotech camera, and with that geotech camera, you will receive your location and date, time with your Gmap, Google Map, and take a picture and then send this picture. Otherwise, they will not receive, they will not accept this picture. So any activity, whatever you conduct after this workshop, take a picture with geotech photo. Suppose yesterday we celebrated our 15th August, Independence Day. And on this occasion, flag hosting was conducted by the principal or any honorable member of the organization. So you should take a picture of that, but that must geotech picture. In that geotech, that will automatically, Google Map will calculate your location, it will mention your location, date, time, everything will be there. So there is no need to describe that. So keep in mind. Then criteria 6. The average percent of teacher attending professional development programs, orientation program, resources program, short-term courses. As I told that not only salary is calculated, the various participation of faculty is also the part of this accreditation program. So what type of development program is running your organization, and your faculties are participating outside the organization at the local, regional and national level. Not only local level, most of the faculty in organization take part in local level, but they should go to the outside their region also. But nowadays in this pandemic situation, the RFI is doing very well, and this type of webinar are very successful webinar, and in that webinar we gain the knowledge, and if these are collaborative manner with collaborative effort with the university or any other government organization, then definitely it is important. So this program must be attended by the faculty, and organization must support. Then quality assurance initiative include the regular meeting of IQAC, timely submission of AQR if you are going for the second cycle, and feedback collected, analyzed and used for the improvement. This feedback is not for the syllabi. This feedback is your other feedback. It means feedback about teacher, feedback about organization, feedback about process, feedback about administrative staff, and feedback about the environment, feedback of hostel student, feedback of mess, and so on. So any type, different type of feedback can be collected, analyzed, and you can use for the improvement. Then academic audit. This is one of the important part for the accreditation process. You may conduct this academic audit with faculty from your organization, or you may take the help of outsider. So if you think this institution is a very good ranking, having good ranking, and faculty from that organization can conduct academic audit, then you may take the help of that organ. You may collaborate with them, and you may take help from them. Participation of NIRF, ISO certification, and NBA. If these are applicable and if you need, then you can proceed. You must proceed for this. MBA is for particular course. If your institution is running MBA and other courses, then you can proceed for MBA also. So any you see here, the any 4 of the above, any 3 of the above, any 2 of the above, any 1 of the above, and none of the above. As per your answer, you will receive the marks here. So criteria 6 and 7 is compulsory to all. You may not exclude 7 criteria. So from first criteria to 6 criteria, I have discussed these all compulsory, essential, and rest of the metric can be opt out. Now the different type of feedback about the curriculum. Student, teacher, employers, alumni, parents, experts, about the teaching and learning, about the individual learners, feedback about the evaluation process and reforms, SSS, and events. This different type of feedback must be collected, analyzed, and must be put into the meeting of board of study or in your governing body and so on, and action must be taken according to that. So then only this feedback will important, otherwise it is useless. Mandatory URL on the your portal. This compulsory URL are required. Strategic plan, as I told you, you must make a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan. Program outcome, course outcome, and program specific outcomes. Different outcomes must be mentioned and how you attend these. Different committees, members on your websites. Feedback report, as I told that action report must be mentioned on your portal. This is mandatory. A research promotion policy of your organization, academic programs offered by the department in the university or your college. What is your IT policy? Incentive to the teachers, what type of incentive you are providing to the teachers, and newsletters if you have. So these are the mandatory URLs. Scholarship, maintenance procedures, capacity development, skill enhancement initiative, code of ethics to take the malpractice and plagiarism, PhD data, consultancy policy for university, possibly online feedback. You should conduct feedback online. So it will helpful to the student or any stakeholders. Code of conduct handbook for the different stakeholder. Every stakeholder must follow the code of conduct. Core values, professional code of conduct, accreditation, academic audit report, different certificate from NAAC, NRI, ISO. These must be included on your portal. DVV process only. Password must be protected if needed. SSR submitted online. There should be link of SSR, data template, peer team report, funding of website link, report of activities, distinctiveness of institutions, and e-governance. So these are the some points that must have the link on your portal, or in your portal must include these all. Here, I want to mention one thing, that I am not including photograph, but various URLs are there. You can see here, here, and here. So these are very important documents that you have to upload on your website. What are the faculty development initiatives? Refresher courses, orientation programs, then UGC, MHRDC, FDP, if attended, or you are organizing, or your teachers are attending, then you should provide permission to the teachers. Orientation programs, faculty exchange programs, staff training conducted by your institution. For example, you conduct a communication skill development program for the faculty, or you conduct an activity how to conduct online teaching, or how to prepare online content. This is the FDP program, staff training conducted by the HEI. So you may organize or arrange a program for the faculty members. So in this pandemic situation, now every teacher is participating online teaching, but most of teachers are not aware of this, how to conduct online teacher, how to develop e-content. So you may arrange one workshop, 2-day, 3-day, 7-day workshop for the faculties, or how online MP online works, and you organize a workshop for your staff members, office administrative staff, the working of online MP online portal. It include admission, result, and exams, whatever they have. And this type of activity can be conducted by the involvement of university employee or the MP online employee, and you conduct the activity in your organizations. This is the staff training program. Staff training conducted by the other institutions. Maybe faculty may participate outside. This is conducted by the other institutions, summer, winter school, workshop, etc. Most of the UGC MHRD center organize this type of activity. I think Ajay sir will share the orientation and this orientation program that will organize by the RFI. So RFI is doing in this part very well. These all activities are conducted by the RFI. So you may take help of RFI and you may join RFI. Administrative activities, these are the activities are the administration, affiliation, recruitments, maintenance, housekeeping, training, placement. These all are the administrative activities. These are in these activities normally administrative officer or principal or management are involved. So this is their part, not the faculty part. But in most of the private organization, faculties are involved in all these activities. There is no separate placement officer in your institution, and one of the faculties has appointed as a placement in charge. So, and for IT activity, normally computer department is involved. So you may take any activity and conduct in your organization. So you should maintain record of these all activities. Academic activity, academic calendar I have mentioned earlier. You have to prepare academic calendar that must include activity also, with the collaboration of HEI higher education department calendar, university calendar, and your own calendar. You may prepare a single calendar. In that you must mention all the activities, academic activities, all the activities date wise, teaching plan, lesson notes, seminar, conference, workshop. You will organize or the faculty will participate. Mentoring system is one of the most important part of the accreditation process. You must appoint a faculty as a mentor for the 30 students or 60 students. They will help not only for their teaching and but other activities also. They may involved in their solving the problem, different type of problem. For example, students are facing any financial problem. So your mentor means teacher will help how to overcome this particular problem. Then use of ICT tool in teaching and learning. As I told you, should arrange a workshop for the teacher. Then that will be academic activity. Research, project papers. You may conduct a workshop how to write a research paper. As RFI conducted this type of research project paper writing workshop in last month. Different webinars were conducted on this. So this type of activity you can conduct in your organization with the help of RFI team. So these are the financial management. This is a part of management. So I am not discussing here. So this is the DVV part that I have told you. They will generate a clarification and all these activities. So these are the clarification. What type of clarification they will raise here, and what type of result will affect. So if you provide a wrong information, for example, in 2018, this is a simple data, 54, 44, 41, 42, 47. This is the data input by the institution. And DVV find out the data, there is mismatch. This is a 41, this is 40, 42, this is 41. It may be on AICTE portal, this institution has provided this 40 and 41. But while entering the data in SSR, they are having 41 and 42. So there is mismatch. So what type of clarification input by the HEI is 40 and 40. Means this suggested input is accepted by the HEI, and what recommendation made by the DVV team, this means this is the final data. What you input here, initially the HEI input is here, but what DVV team found that there is a variation in this data, in the data entered here, 40 and 41. So they suggested this input 40 and 42, but when HCI find that